this thing that we thought was good, like, hey, what if everyone just felt really good about themselves? Like, that's good if you earn it. If you just rub it on them, that ain't earning it, and that's going to lead to trouble.
You link a lot of this stuff that's happening on colleges in the movie, you link it to sort of how we've raised kids now. So you want to kick the millennials while they're down?
I do. I do as I travel through this land. I think this self-esteem movement is really the genesis of this. Because I started thinking, like, when I was 19, I didn't have any self-esteem, and my thing was like, I'm not going to tell an adult what to do. Like, I would never dream. If I was walking down the street and I was like 16 and I'd passed a 45-year-old guy and he just went, hey, stop. And I'd went, what? And he'd go, give me 20 push-ups. I would have went like, okay, diamond hands, or kind of do a widespread. Like, I would have just done it because he's a dude and he's older than me and he told me to do something. Like, that's how I was wired. So I started thinking, like, well, if I were 19 and I was on a college campus, and I was on a construction site, but if I was on a college campus, and by the way, when I was on a construction site, I had a foreman go, he said, go to my truck, get my 4-foot level out of my gun rack. He had like a 4-foot level hanging on his gun rack. And I said, okay. And I started walking the truck and he goes, hey, run. And I started running because he told me to run because he's older than I am. And
you also had a gun rack, so it was probably a wise move by you.
Yeah, where's the gun? Run.
It probably wasn't all levels in there.
Run, serpentine. So I started thinking, if I was 19 and I was on a college campus and they announced that some 50-year-old with a bunch of degrees was coming to speak, I would never go like, not over my dead body. I'd just be like, oh, okay, all right. And then someone would go, well, Adam, he's going to talk about stuff you disagree with. And I'd go, well, he's 50 and has all the degrees, so I guess I'm probably wrong. And then someone would go, does he have the right to speak here? And I'd go, of course, it's not my campus. I'm basically, this is a 4-year motel I'm living at. I don't own the building. Like, who? No, it's not for me to. And then if they went, we're going to go rally and create a human blockade, I'd be like, why? What? Just don't go to the show. Well, I don't get it. And I realized,
sort of like a sane, functioning person. That's what you're saying. You would have acted like a 19-year-old should behave.
Well, how high does your self-esteem have to be to go, not on my watch? No way is David Rubin or Jordan Rubin or Ben Shapiro.
You're combining all these people.
Combine them into one big,
one horrible transformer.
That's going to be protested. Why would that be my job? Who am I to do that? So if you think about what that takes a life of grooming. That takes a life of don't let anyone tell you what to do. You tell them what to do. Like, you're special. Your opinion matters. Don't let anybody, so the self-esteem movement, I believe, is super dangerous. I mean, how are you going to put World War II, get in a Higgins landing craft and go hit Normandy? 19-year-olds with super high self-esteem? You think they're getting in that thing? You think they're going to rush a German pillbox? Hell no. No. So this thing that we thought was good, like, hey, what if everyone just felt really good about themselves? Like, that's good if you earn it. If you just rub it on them, that ain't earning it, and that's going to lead to trouble.
So if we go a little meta on that, do you think that's actually by design? Do you think that is just like, it's sort of just kind of like liberals that wanted everybody to feel good and it's just kind of nice? Or do you think it was actually by design by some bad actors that pushed this stuff out there to weaken all of the things that the movie's about?
I think it can be traced back to a gentleman who's out of Los Angeles who had an idea, which is like, it was, and I'll paraphrase, but it's like some of these inner city kids and some of these low income kids or single parent kids and stuff, they have low self-esteem. Like their dad abandoned them. Like they don't feel good about themselves. And if they felt good about themselves, they would start excelling in school and get out of gangs and not be involved with crime. So how do we get them to feel good about themselves? And it's like, well, we can't get their dad back in the house, and we can't give them an A in calculus when they're failing calculus. We're just going to start telling them how good they are, and they'll feel good about themselves. And what ended up happening is it turns out like criminals have high self-esteem. Like they didn't
Right.
know it's a unintended circumstance. Like I have a good heart. You know, it's basically all that stuff of like, I have a good heart. Let's build big housing projects and let people live in free in those, and we'll give them food, and it's like, yeah, you ruined
sounds
them.
good.
It all sounds good. You have a great heart. You've now ruined a group of people. That's how you ruin people. You tell them, you give them things without earning it. You give them food without earning it. You give them housing without earning it, or you give them self-esteem without earning it. You don't earn it. It doesn't work. It morphs into something bad and then comes back in a weird kind of vitriolic way.
So one of the things I kept thinking during the movie is, as over the last couple of years, as I've had all these people on, I mean, so many of the people in the movie have been in here to discuss the very things they're bringing up in the movie. I've often thought, man, am I overblowing this? Like, am I just exaggerating, or am I just finding these random people? Lindsay Shepherd, this TA at Wilfrid Laurier University in Canada, which I had never heard of before. Am I overblowing this? And then the answer always turns out to be no, because the next week there's somebody else that it happens to, and the next week there's somebody else, and the rest of it. But were you ever worried about that as you make this, that it like makes it feel like it's bigger than it is, or do you really believe that it is this big?
I think when you endeavor to do any kind of storytelling, there's a balance between making it compelling, and I know this. I'll give you an example, and then I'll circle back. I've made other documentaries about subjects that have nothing to do with this, and I made a documentary about Paul Newman and his racing life, and it's called Winning the Racing Life of Paul Newman, and your audience would enjoy it. His partner, his teammate, and his like best friend and teammate died at a race in Florida. Paul was racing, he was racing. Fitzy was his name, he died in the race. He died, they think, because he had a heart attack when he was driving the car and just never slowed down for like turn 3 and just plowed in the wall. Jeez. And died. And when you're making the film, I'm saying it's more dramatic if he just never hit the brakes on turn 3 and got in this horrific accident and died. Now, the truth is he had a heart attack, probably, and died, and then hit the wall and or died for sure, or broke his neck, or whatever it is. And as a filmmaker, I'm like, I don't want to lie, but I'd like to make this dramatic. So I took out the part where he probably was dead from the heart attack and just said he went down the straightaway, he never braked for turn 3, he died when he hit the wall, you know. And so there's this kind of thing where it's like, don't lie, but you're also making a film, like you're trying to entertain. I think what's going on college campuses is bad. I have 13-year-old twins. I have reservations about sending them to college, and I do hear the stories, and I don't like the stories. But by the same token, you're trying to make a film that holds people's interest, and the music swells, and you take a little artistic license, and it's a dramatic shot of the smoke burning in slow motion and stuff. And yeah, so of course there's an element of like, we are going to massage it, you know, like they do in theatrical filmmaking as well. It's speaking to the same part of your brain. Like you want people to sit up, pay attention, and what have you, and it's just a part of filmmaking.
Yeah.
So the answer is sort of yes and yes. I do think it's bad, but also you take some artistic license and ratchet it up.
If you're looking for more honest and thoughtful conversations about comedy instead of the nonstop yelling you get everywhere else, check out our comedy playlist. And if you want to watch full interviews on a variety of topics, check out our full episode playlist. They're both right over here. And to get notified of all future videos, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell.